All right, deep divers, settle in. Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating trip back in time. We're opening up an ancient text and uncovering some, well, pretty surprising insights about wisdom, folly, and, how we actually learn things, how we get understanding. We've got one main source for this deep dive, but it's incredibly rich. It's excerpts from Gaṇṭhibhedakacoravatthu, which translates basically to the story of the pickpocket.
Yeah, it's a classic narrative. It comes from the Dhammapada. That's an ancient Buddhist commentary. And it often uses these compelling stories to illustrate teachings.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really captivating, I think, is how this seemingly simple story, which the Sotāpatti teacher originally shared at Jetavana, the famous monastery where he taught often,
Right.
how it unpacks such complex truths about how we see ourselves, how we see others. So our mission today really is to pull out those timeless nuggets of knowledge, things that can genuinely help us understand what true wisdom looks like, and, maybe more importantly, what true folly really is.
Okay, so you might be thinking, ancient story, pickpockets. What's in it for me? Well, get ready. Because this tale and the really profound verse it reveals, it might just challenge how you think about your own path. Your path to becoming well-informed might even spark an aha moment.
Could do.
So, yeah, let's unpack this. Okay, so the story kicks off with two friends, and the title implies they're both pickpockets, right? The story of the pickpocket.
That's the implication, yes.
They join this big crowd heading to Jetavana for a Dhamma discourse, a teaching.
And what's immediately striking is, well, how different their intentions are.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go, one friend is completely absorbed, just listening intently to the Dhamma.
Focus.
Totally focused. The other one, he's busy scanning the crowd. Not for wisdom, though. He's looking for opportunities, what he can, take for himself.
Ah, okay, so a real contrast in focus there.
A fundamental difference.
Yeah.
Sets the stage perfectly.
And the immediate results couldn't be more different either, could they?
Not at all.
The friend who actually listened, he attains this deep spiritual understanding. It's specifically called the fruit of stream entry.
Sotāpatti.
Right, Sotāpatti. That's a pretty major spiritual breakthrough in this tradition.
It is. A significant step. Meanwhile, the other friend, the one focused on, let's say, worldly gain, he manages to get his hands on 5 masa coins tied up in someone's clothes.
5 coins. Okay, so a tangible gain, something he could actually hold.
Exactly. Small, but physical. Real in that sense.
But then the story takes this, really interesting twist.
Yeah, this is where it gets juicy.
The friend with the 5 coins, he goes home, he can prepare a meal with his loot.
Food on the table.
While the friend who had the big spiritual insight, well, he couldn't. He didn't have the means for a meal right then.
Right, and this leads to that very human moment. The thief who got the money, he and his wife, they actually ridicule the other friend.
Seriously, what do they say?
Something like, "Look at you, because of your excessive wisdom, you can't even fix dinner."
Ouch. Excessive wisdom. That's quite a phrase.
It is, isn't it? And it just highlights this tendency we have, maybe even today, to value the quick win, the visible result, the material gain.
Over something deeper.
Exactly. Over something less tangible, maybe less immediately useful in a practical sense, but potentially far more profound.
So that taunt, that jab about excessive wisdom, that must have stung. What happened then?
Well, it prompted the listener friend, the one who gained insight, to go straight to the sata, to the teacher.
Okay.
He took his relatives along, and he reported what happened. He basically told the teacher what the other thief said. This guy, he thinks he's wise, but really it's foolishness talking.
Wow. Laying it all out there.
He did. And this interaction, it raised a really important point for the Sota, which led him to deliver this powerful teaching. A verse, actually, that's absolutely central to our deep dive today.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's, "Yo balo mañanates, talofapitanaso, baloka panchendamani, seve balotivukatiti."
Whoa, okay. That's quite a bit of Pali. So break it down for us. What does this profound verse actually mean in plain English?
Absolutely. The text helps here, the first part. Yo balo mañati balya. That translates roughly to whoever, being foolish, considers himself foolish.
Okay, so someone who isn't wise, but they know they aren't wise. They recognize their own foolishness.
Precisely. They have self-awareness about their limitations. They see their own gaps.
Got it. And the next part. Patito vapitenaso.
That means, by that, he is wise, or like a wise person.
Wait, just by knowing you're foolish, you become wise? Or like a wise person? How does that work?
Well, the idea is that acknowledging your foolishness, that humility, It prompts you to act. You're moved to approach genuinely wise people, maybe serve them, listen to them, accept their guidance.
Ah, I see. So it's the starting point. Humility opens the door to learning, to actual growth.
Exactly. It's a crucial first step towards wisdom.
Okay, that makes sense. So what about the second half of the verse? Balaka pachinane.
Right. Save beloti vukatiti. This is the flip side. But the fool who considers himself wise.
Ah, the Dunning-Kruger effect, ancient style.
You could say that. It describes someone who is actually foolish, but they boast. They think, who's like me? I'm so learned. I know the Dhamma. I know the Vinaya. I'm such a great ascetic.
Uh-oh. They've got it all figured out in their own head.
Completely. They mistakenly believe they're wise, maybe even superior to others.
And the verse ends, Save baloti vukatiti.
He is truly called a fool. The text is quite blunt.
And it even explains the consequence, doesn't it? What happens to this person?
It does. It spells it out clearly. Such a person, the one who thinks they're already wise, they don't seek out or serve the truly wise. Why would they if they think they know it all?
Right. Makes sense.
They don't learn from scriptures properly. They don't complete their practice or training. Instead, the text says they only attain greater foolishness.
Wow. So not only do they not learn, they actually become more foolish.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
And it compares them directly to the pickpocket from the story.
The one who valued the 5 coins over the insight.
Exactly. It's a powerful statement. It clarifies that true foolishness isn't just simple ignorance. It's not just not knowing.
It's the arrogance.
It's the arrogance of believing you already know everything. That attitude slams the door shut on real understanding. It's, as you said, not knowing that you don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe not even wanting to find out.
Okay, let's loop back to our 2 friends then. We've got this really stark contrast in what they gained immediately. One gets a few coins, a meal, fleeting material stuff.
Temporary, yeah.
The other gets this profound, lasting spiritual insight, stream entry. Now, in our world today, a lot of people might look at that and say, well, the guy with the coins, he got the real win, right? Practical.
Absolutely. The tangible reward often seems more valuable.
So how does this ancient story, this teaching, challenge that mindset, that focus on immediate practical gain?
That's a great point. It forces us to ask, what is true value? The story, when you connect it to the verse and the bigger picture, really underlines that true worth isn't always obvious. It's not always in the immediate payoff, the thing you can count or spend.
It's more long-term.
It's about the long-term enrichment, the inner transformation that comes from humility, from being open, from genuinely seeking knowledge or insight. The meal from the 5 coins was gone quickly. The spiritual insight, the Sotāpatti, that's a fundamental shift. It lasts.
And the impact wasn't just on the 2 friends, was it? The story mentions the crowd.
That's right. At the end of the Saitha's discourse, after he explained that verse, the large crowd that was there, including the relatives the listener friend brought along, they also attained the fruit of stream entry.
Wow, the whole crowd.
Well, a large number, it implies, which just shows the transformative power of the teaching, right? The power of understanding this difference between true wisdom and the illusion of wisdom.
So this deep dive into the story of the pickpocket, it really hammers home that wisdom isn't about puffing yourself up thinking you know it all.
Not at all.
It's actually about the strength, the courage maybe, to know what you don't know and being humble enough to learn. The truly wise person sees their ignorance not as a failure, but as like the starting block.
A necessary starting point for deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this raises a pretty important question for you, the listener, doesn't it?
I think it does. In this world we live in now, just overflowing with information, endless feeds, are you leaning more towards being like the wise person, the one who acknowledges, okay, I don't know everything, I have gaps, and then seeks out reliable guidance? Or are you maybe sometimes at risk of being like the fool who considers themselves wise, confident in your knowledge, but maybe closing yourself off to deeper learning, shutting that door?
It's a really powerful thought to just sort of ponder. As you navigate everything, try to make sense of the world. Remember, maybe the deepest insights, the real aha moments, they often come not from boasting about what we do know, but from having the honesty to acknowledge what we don't.
Well said. Keep that curiosity alive.
Definitely. Keep that curiosity alive, keep asking questions, and we'll be here for your next deep dive.